Welcome, buddies, gather near. It's time to shine and lose the fear. Turn obstacles into stepping stones. Turn your dreams into motion. You're not alone. Your success story starts tonight. It's Success Saturday. Together our hearts burn bright. Success Saturdays light your way. We're growing, glowing bright today. Turn those challenges into gold. With humor, heart, and love untold. Together we rise, come what may. Let Success Saturdays light your way.
Success Saturday starts now. Yes, it does. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Success Saturdays with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley. And I'm so happy. Again, I get excited because this is the time, this is the place, this is the moment that you get to express, celebrate, have joy in your heart, in your soul, everywhere about successes that you have in your life. Maybe it was Monday. Maybe it was Wednesday. Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it was just 2 seconds ago. But we want to make sure that you are celebrating you, because this reminds you, first of all, that you got to love on yourself. You got to love yourself. You know that you have self-worth. Okay. It was just interesting. I was just doing an interview with somebody earlier today. And one of the things that he was talking about a lot of, which I love, was understanding your worth, understanding who you are, understanding the gifts that I always tell you that you have, understanding and loving on you first. And then once you can do that, you could love on others. It's not going to be a stretch. If you don't love you, believe me, the energy that exudes from that when you're saying that you don't like yourself or love yourself, it comes out. It's expressed. People can see it. People can sense it. So you want to make sure that we're loving on you. And today you get to do that by celebrating your successes that you have in your life. So I want you to put down, comments. I want to see them. I want to see them. So with that, before we even start, I know we did our intro video, which I love. Thank you. A shout out to Tamara L. Hunter for creating that lovely intro for me and all the other things that she does when it comes into the music and the videos and just everything. It's funny, just a few weeks ago, we were having a meeting with the other host and herself for Let's Talk Fab. By the way, make sure you watch that this tomorrow. And she was expressing, you don't have to always, kind of just say, oh, Tamara L. Hunter made the video, or Tamara L. Hunter did the music and stuff. And she said, you don't have to do that. She's so humble. She's so humble. And I was looking at her. I didn't say anything. I was watching. I was listening. Yes, I was listening. But in the back of my mind, I said, I'm still going to put shout outs to her. I don't know why she can't stop me unless she just totally says, Barbara. But until that happens, and hopefully it doesn't, I am going to give the love to her with that, because she needs to understand too on how important it is that she is pouring and creating music and videos that are touching people's lives. There's a connection there every time she does a song. There's a connection there every time she does a video. So she doesn't put a success down about that. I'm kind of giving that to everybody now about her. Using that as example, I want to see everybody else to put their success down, because it's time to celebrate. So while you're doing that, I know you got to pull and you got to think about it. I'm going to write off the bat here. And I want to play a song that really resonates, well, song in a video that really, really, truly resonates about We're One Together. And this is a beautiful song that was done when we were doing the whole chemo buddy for life, and we were doing like the 36 hours and the 24 hours online, and just really making sure people understood how much this, because all roads lead to chemo buddies. And we always say that because we want to show that love and that heart center, that you know that you're never alone in any situation, not just going through cancer, but in any other situation. We want to make sure that you know that you are not alone. So I want to play this video just to remind you of that. It's really soothing. And then I'll be back and I'm going to talk a little bit about fear to forward.
Together we are stronger than sadness. Together we are stronger than cancer. Together we are stronger. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts.
Every time I listen to that song, it just gets in my heart and soul, and just remind me that we are all as one in our hearts and our soul, and we have to be there continuously to remind ourselves to be there for each other. And that's one of the reasons, again, why I kind of came back to life with Success Saturdays. I was just telling Tamara just a few months ago, before we brought it back on every second and fourth Saturday for right now, that we need to put some life in ourselves again. We need to believe in ourselves again. We need to, and not letting fear, not letting the things that's going around us right now. And I'm not going to get into political stuff or anything like that. That's not what it's about right here. What it's about is just making sure that you're okay, that we're okay, that we're all okay in the midst, I always say, of the storms and the earthquakes and floods that gather around us at times in our world, in our life. It could be from your work, from maybe outside of stuff that we can't even. I always tell people sometimes things that you can't have no control over, but it gets to you. We're human. We're gonna feel it. We're gonna think it. We're gonna go through certain things, but we got to understand that in the midst of all of that, we are still together, and we still use that big word that is so important that I keep telling people it can change lives, and it's LOVE. It's love. Period. My pastor always tells me when she ends something, she's always say period, and she has me saying it a lot too. Well, she doesn't have me say it. I'm saying it. I just picked it up from her. You know how you pick up habits, but that's a wonderful habit to have. Is basically you're trying to make a point. And you're like, okay, this is it. There's nothing else to be added to that. And add, the only thing I would like to add to when I talk about love and loving yourself first and loving others is that don't have no intentions afterwards. Have the right motives of the love, because there's a lot of times people talk about love, they love you, they love me or whatever. And sometimes they have the wrong motives when they use that word. And you can hurt and harm people if you use that word in the wrong manner. Then they don't even want to hear the word love anymore. And I'm finding that out too. I have some examples of that a few months ago where I used that word on some people and they wanted to fight me tooth and nail. They were completely upset at me by saying it to them. And I asked them because I was curious. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I never thought the word love would have somebody wanting to fight, you know? And they said that when people told them that they loved them, that they did it for other purpose and other means that was not positive in their lives. And first I had to just want to give them some hugs and say, I am so sorry that happened to you with the word love. So make sure when you are telling people, when you're telling yourself, when you're telling others that you really truly love them and you care about them, that's in the right intention, because you can use, that can be a weapon. It can be turned around to be a weapon for somebody that they never want to even hear the word love. So I just want to remind people of that. But no, today I'm not going to, that's not one of the things I want to talk about, but you know, I'm going to always throw love in there. So always be ready for me to do that, because that's one of my words for the centuries that I always want to tap in when I'm talking, wherever I'm talking. So I want to make sure, just a reminder, put those little success. I want to see some success in there in the comments and make sure that we're celebrating you. Okay. So with that, I wanted to talk about fear to forward. Fear to forward. So I always like to lay it when I'm talking about certain topics or ideas or thoughts that I have. I like to lay a foundation and then kind of go into action or some tips. Because I always tell people, if you're going to tell somebody, and if you're going to explain something or teach something or coach something, you just don't want to do a lot of talking and then leave it there. You want to, after we talk about it, after we, really understand it, then you want to take action on it. Because what's the use of talking about it if you're not going to do nothing with it? That's what I say. So just a little tip there for some of you maybe listening, that, when you are talking to people, when you are helping people, give them some action to do so they can start practicing on it, so they can start to have it to be a good habit. If it's a positive habit, let me just put it that way. You want to make sure you're doing that. So with the fear to forward, the foundation of this is fear to forward is the intentional decision. I'm going to kind of slow it down a little bit because there's certain words that I want you to really get in your mind with this. Is the intentional decisions to move ahead in your life. Purpose or calling despite the fear. So a lot of times we will do things, and I'll put myself in this because other people are like, well, you don't know what I'm going to do, Barbara. Well, you're right. So let me put Barbara in it so I don't get in trouble. Sometimes I will do things despite the fear. Sometimes I will create things despite the fear. I might be fearing through the whole process of it, but I'm not going to let it stop me. And that's what I mean by fear to move forward. Okay. And I want you to think about that in your world. Have you had fear to stop you? Because it can. It could be that the blockage of where you're trying to go because you're fearing of it. And then sometimes, people will put thoughts in your head to fear more. And then the biggest thought in your head is your own thought. Because I always tell people, at the end of the day, you are in control when people tell you something to let it really meditate into you. You can control that. If somebody calls you ugly, you can either accept that or not. If somebody says you can't do a certain thing, you either accept that or not. But when it gets in your head, you drill in your head and it keeps pounding in your head saying, well, you know what? They say I can't do it, so maybe I can't do it. See, now you're accepting it and you're letting it get into your world. I always tell people, take that garbage out. It's time to take the garbage out of your mind, of what somebody threw in your head about you're ugly, you're fat, you're not this. I've been hearing that all my life. And look where I'm at today. Because I fought and I said, I'm going to take the fear, I'm going to take the words, the negative words and everything, and I'm still going to move forward. And some people, well, Barbara, I moved forward and it's still not doing what I want to do, or, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. But you moved. You did something. You tried it out. You just didn't let it stop you for not even trying. I'd rather try it, and if it fails, than to not do it at all and be in that world of maybe if I did that or I did this. And then technically you're not failing when you move forward, when you're doing something, because you're learning and growing through the process. So it's always a win when you move forward in spite of the fear. Okay. So not waiting for fear to disappear, because it's not going to really, sometimes it doesn't disappear. Like I said, I just told you, I go through the whole thing sometimes. I'm still going through the fear. I'm like, but I'm still moving. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. But I'm still moving. Ooh, maybe that might not work. But I'm still moving. Right? But learning to walk with courage in the presence of it. That's what you're doing. You're building. It's like you're taking those little steps. Every step. Think of a little baby. When they're a little baby, they get up first, they're crawling around, right? Because, they're like, okay, that's all I can do right now because this is my age, right? And then they get a little bit older and they see that, there's a balance thing here. I got to learn how to balance on my own, right? So then after they do the balancing trick right there and they stay there, sometimes they just stay there. They're just going back and forth. And the mama or the daddy right next to them or who's ever next to them, they're like having their hands already ready to catch them, right? They say, whoop, they're swaying over there. Whoop, they're swaying over there. And sometimes they fall. And sometimes they cry when they do it. And then guess what? They get right back up again. It might be that second, that minute, or they might just get up the next day and say, hey, I kind of like that little sway. Maybe I can move a little bit forward. And then they get up again and they do the little wobbling. And then all of a sudden, they take that one foot. Usually it's the right. Sometimes it's the left. That's why they fall next time, because they start on the different foot. But usually it's the right foot, and they take that step, and you can see a just a little smile coming out of their face, because they know that they did something that they're not used to. So that's what sometimes we have to take ourselves back as children and say, okay, this is how we learn. We have to take step by step. It might be fearful. It might be scary. It just might be like something that you never thought that you can even deal with. But if you don't take the step, you'll never find out that you could. So I always tell people, not walking into fear. The fear is not going to disappear, because every step you take, it's going to take that courage to move forward. So just lean into it like the little baby did. They got up. There's some babies that are doing that swaying for a while until they took that step. Some babies do it the second time around. Some babies do it maybe 5 or 6 days after. Some baby might wait for a few weeks. But this is not a relay race here. We're not trying to race each other. We're just trying to make sure you're taking the step in spite of the fear. Okay? And it's about recognizing fear as a signal, not as a stop sign. Fear is a signal to say, okay, well, if I'm fearing this, then maybe I need to see what's going on, because this is something that I need to get over, or something that I need to look into. So look at it as, okay, this is a signal for me, so much of a stopping sign. And it's going to you choosing to grow. It's a growth process. So you're choosing to grow into what you want to do. And you're taking action, like I said before, and you're aligning. Your alignment, what I mean, is to over hesitate and doubt. You want to get rid of that, because the more you do it, the more you step out on faith, as I always say, because I believe in God and Jesus, and that's what says the Bible. You're stepping out on faith. That's what you're doing. You're just stepping out on faith through the fear, right? So it means you don't allow fear to define your direction. You don't want, because if you allow fear to define your direction, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not. You're going to be stagnated all the time. So we might as well just do that step. Let's do that one little step that the little baby did. Let's just start. You want to allow your purpose to lean. You want to allow your purpose that you have to lead, and fear to become something you manage, not something that controls you. Okay? you should be managing that more so than it's controlling you. Because anything that's controlling you, that's a problem. Anything that's controlling you in a negative sense, that's a problem. So you want to make sure that you manage your fear by taking on in spite of, despite the fear. So I just wanted to kind of lay down that foundation about fear to forward, because I see a lot of that in me sometimes, and I see it, I'm being vulnerable here, because if this is a connection that I could show you, that even people that you might think that are out just like, oh wow, they just doing their thing and stuff, and in the background they probably fearing every step that they take and everything that they do, but they also understand that they need to take the step to get to the next level. Because when you're not taking that step, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting everybody else that you can be helping in this world. And see, I don't want that. That's an accountability that I don't want to be having to explain. I want to make sure that, okay, I need to take every step that I need to take. So not only I can just really build myself to where I need to go, but to help build others. And that's what it's all about. Remember, I just played that song, We Are One. You know, we want to love on each other. We want to appreciate each other. We want to encourage each other, all that good stuff. But you can't do that out of fear all the time. You're going to have to take that next step. And it's believe that, and sometimes you got to take the step and don't really look at the outcome of it. Because the outcome might not be the outcome that you think it's going to be. See, that used to be my problem too. Well, if I take this step and I do this and I want this to happen when I take this step, right? You're already dancing. So then all of a sudden that could even become a fear factor in a sense, because now you're like, well, shoot, it might not get to that point. So why even do it at all? Because that's going to be what, quote unquote, a waste of time. So now I'm not going to take that step. See, now you just talk yourself out of it, because now you're looking at the outcome of it. And right now, any outcome that comes from it is going to help you, even if it's something that you didn't want that outcome. And through the process that you did, you're learning and growing. So it's a win. It's always going to be a win, no matter what is the outcome. It's going to be a win for you. But you have to think the mindset, and I want to say the heart set more so than the mind, because the mindset, mind stuff changes every second of the day. 1 minute you're good, next minute you're bad, next minute you're sad, next minute you're angry, then you're good again. See, that's all a mindset thing. But when it comes in your heart, and it stays in your heart, I don't care what the mind is saying, the heart could override that. So you want to make sure that it comes into your heart. And then anybody that throws things away, throws things to you like, oh, you're ugly, you're fat, you can't do that. Why are you thinking about starting this? Why you start thinking about this business? Why you want to start this nonprofit? You know you're not about that. You know people are not going to come to you, but your heart is saying no, because I'm overriding that. Because I believe and I won't take the step, no matter how fearful I feel like I am. What you're saying and then what my mind is trying to say right now. Heart set is going to override all of that. But it takes time to get to that point. You will never arrive in that area. You're going to always be striving. That's why you have to take that, what I said earlier about the fear. It probably won't disappear, but you can learn how to control it. Remember, don't let it control you. You need to control it. That's people always get mad at me when they come to me sometime. They're like, oh, I'm so disgusted at that person, or I'm so disgusted with that company, and they make me sick, and da 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 da. And so I let them vent. I let them say everything they had to say. And I say, are you okay now? They're like, well, yeah, I said what I had to say to a certain point, but it just really burns me up. So, at that time, it's like, okay, they're not okay. They're still venting. So I'll let them vent again. So I give them that time. I always try to give people that little time. That little, to me, in the back of my mind, is waste of energy, but for them, they need to release it. So I'm thinking about them. So after they release it, then I'm like, okay, so how did that go for you? And like, well, it made me calm down a little bit. Good. I'm glad you're calm, because I want them to be calm to what I'm about to say next. Because what I'm about to say next to them, they might not like it. So what I usually say, and this is everybody I say after they get mad at anything or they get upset, they get flustered or whatever word you want to say, I turn around and tell them, you can't control that. That's your fault why you're upset. Oh boy. That as soon as I say that, they're like, what? What? So now you're making me flush about why can you say that? I said you can. Because you let them into your backyard and you let them throw that garbage in your backyard, throw it back out. You don't want that garbage. You don't need that garbage. You need that energy. You can control a person from saying stuff to you. You can either walk away, you can tell them, hey, I don't want to hear it right now, or don't let it resonate in you because you know your worth and you know who you are. So you can control that. Most of the time we can control things that really gets on our nerves on some things. You know, I always do the Usha moment. I got to do whatever I need to get my peace and to get myself together again, because I'm not going to let them disrupt. You can't let a person disrupt that because you got things to do. So I always tell people, you can control that. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you want to blame others. It's so easy to do it. You know, it's the politics. It's the corporations. It's the person next door. It's the birds. It's the trees. It's the flowers. You can think of anything, anything. But at the end of the day, you're letting it resonate in you. So guess what? You can control that. As I said, going back to Fear to Forward, you can be a part of that part too and manage that instead of letting it control you. So but it takes time. See, I was nice after I said it. I put it out there. I put a little action note to them. I said, but I know it takes time, but you have to start somewhere. You can't sit on the sidelines and think that, everything's going to be roses and everything, because you got to go through the process. You got to go through the process. Okay. So now that I kind of gave you foundation, I think it's time. In fact, I know it's time. I am going to, this is what I want to play. Dare to Learn. Because now I'm going to, after I come back, I want to give you some tips. Because remember, I don't just leave you with foundations and thoughts. I want to leave you with some action items on what to do or something to think about to kind of start the process of Fear to Forward. So I will be right back after this video.
Forget the rules, forget the doubt. The fabulous version of you's breaking out.
Curiosity, that's a superpower. So step into your learning hour.
You don't need a reason, just the will.
You've got questions, that's the thrill.
Take the leap, rewrite the plot. Life's a class, so why not? From kitchen talks to TEDx dreams, from wild ideas to quiet schemes. Dive it in, dare to try, dare to laugh, dare to fly.
Find the spark that makes you burn. It's your moment, dare to learn.
Dare to dance, dare to speak, dare to shine your kind of chic.
The path is yours, no need to earn. You've always had it.
Dare to learn. Try a step that feels brand new.
Break a pattern, change the view.
Download wisdom, hit refresh. Every challenge makes you fresh.
Take a class or daydream a while.
Read a book, then walk in style. Lessons bloom in every form, and reinvention is the norm.
Dare to sketch, dare to bake, dare to bend, dare to break, dare to fall and still return. This is living, dare to learn.
Dare to flirt with what's unknown. Make the daring zone your own. You don't need someone to confirm you're ready now.
Dare to learn.
Not just books and not just grades.
It's the courage when the fear won't fade.
It's saying yes when no feels safe. That's the power you create.
Dare to ask, dare to try, dare to laugh, dare to fly. Find the spark that makes you burn. It's your moment, dare to learn.
Dare to dream.
Wow, that was kind of right on time. I love that song, Dare to Learn. Dare to Learn. That's almost, what I'm saying about fear to forward. And I like in the song where it said, life's a class. Life is a class. I always tell people, you should be forever, ever learning. I was just on a call last night with a wonderful woman, queen, and I call the women. And she's much younger than me. I think she's probably like in her 30s. So now you can guess where I'm at. But that's okay because I'm glad I'm here to see another day. But some people that are older, like myself, I'm gonna use me as an example, not get in trouble with nobody else. And you're dealing with the younger generation of people that are coming up, and they fear, the older people, they fear that, okay, if since I'm getting older and stuff like that, I'm getting put to the side, or people not gonna listen to me, or the other way where I can't learn from them. I've been there longer than them, so I know more. And please cut that out. I'm just being totally honest. Don't do that. I'm talking to the older people. I'm talking to the baby boomers and even Gen X, because we're kind of in that mode now because we're moving up in age. So never stop learning. You can learn from a baby. And I just did the whole example of that before that song came on about learning from a little baby. So why not take it in and learn from it and grow from it? So saying all that, I was on the phone with her. It was supposed to be 45 minutes because we were catching up on some things, because she's been doing a lot of summits and everything. And we got a chance to, get together and talk, just check on each other for one. I always encourage her. And then also some things that she's doing and some things that I'm doing, and that's how we lift each other up. Okay, that's a prime example of that. Well, call turned from 45 minutes, 3 hours. And I'm like, whoa. But those 3 hours went so fast. You know why? Because she was really pouring into me a lot of wisdom, a lot of business tactics and different ways of doing things a little bit faster, and what I do, and building some things, even talking about how to, take certain things to make more income coming in and everything. And I was like, wow, if I would have shut the door on her just because of her age or that she's younger than me, I would have missed out on so much, so much, to the point where she even said, well, Barbara, you have been pouring into me. You're always encouraging me. Every time I have something, you're there. Either you're promoting it or you're part of it. She said, so I want to pour into you too. And she did. And she's going to be helping me out on some things, and in every month now. So, but see, if I would have feared because she's younger, or I would have feared that, oh, I think I know everything, I wouldn't have moved forward in that. I wouldn't have learned from her. I wouldn't have. Now I'm using some things already. I mean, something that she just told me yesterday. There's 3 things I'm doing this morning alone that she kind of gave me some golden nuggets on. So don't shut the door. Don't shut the door. Because when you shut the door, you're really shutting the door on your purpose, your gift of what you have. Because maybe that might have been something that they gave to you that could have got you further along in what you're trying to do. So never shut the door. Always be forever learning. So I just want to put that as a disclaimer. So now let's go through some tips to move from fear to forward. Let's talk about some of these tips that I have, okay? And I'm gonna kind of arrange this a little different so I can see it, because I wrote them down. Yes, I did my homework. So I have like 7 tips. I might not get through all of them today, but I at least want to get through some of the main ones to kind of help you move forward and say, okay, this is what I need to do, right? So first tip, acknowledge the fear. Don't ignore it. Acknowledge it. If you start ignoring it, I'm just going to put it point blank. I'm going to be really really raw on a lot of things right now, because I really want this to really get into, your mind to your heart, because it's important. I don't want fear stopping people from what they need to do. So acknowledge it. It's okay to say I'm scared. It's okay to say I'm fearful to do that. It's okay. Let's put it out there. Because if you hide it, you're not going to really be able to move forward, because deep down inside in your mind, and everything. Not say it's going to disappear, but at least you called it out. Let's call it on out. Like people say, call it out. Let's put it on the table, right? But what's the other things they say? Well, we all know the elephant in the room. You hear that a lot, right? Well, let's put the elephant out there. Call out the fear. Acknowledge the fear. Don't ignore it. So fear loses power when you name it. Name your fear. I'm fear in talking in front of people. I'm fear in being on video. I'm fearful to even say anything because people say I don't know how to talk right. My language, my grammar. And some of this stuff that I'm telling you about certain examples of fear, that happened to me. People have told me that. People told me you would never look good on camera. Yes, they have. I see my people here. And remember, just because I'm kind of doing some, I hate to say teaching, but it's just pouring in right now to you. That doesn't mean you stop not putting your success in there. So keep putting your success stuff in there. We want to celebrate. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. So acknowledge the fear. Don't ignore it. Fear loses power when you name it. Be honest about it. What you're afraid of. Rejection. Failure. Visibility that you'll get. Some judgment that might come on. Hey, I hit all those. I hit the rejection. I hit failure. I hit visibility. I hit the judgment. All of those. So name your fear. Acknowledge it. So that's the first thing you want to do. Okay. Second, shift your perspective. Instead of asking, what if this goes wrong? Ask, what if this changes my life? Reframe opens possibilities. So reframing it opens the possibility of that fear. Remember, I told you earlier about you controlling the fear, not fear controlling you. That's what I'm talking about. So instead, ask, what if this goes wrong? You hear a lot of people, what if it goes wrong? The first thing, somebody gonna call it out no matter what. If you're in a group of people, if you're working on a product, somebody around there is either gonna say it out loud or type it somewhere and say, well, what if this goes wrong? Well, what if it doesn't go wrong? So then we want to reframe that. What if this changes my life? What if it changes your life? What if it changes this whole project to go moving forward faster? Let's think of this. So reframing, shifting your perspective. Okay. Third, take small, consistent action. Okay. Remember I told about the baby earlier, right? That baby was wobbling. And it took that first step. And it fell down. She fell down or he fell down, but got back up. Started maybe another day, or maybe started right then and there. Some babies are like, hey, I felt that one step. I felt something different. So I need to get back up and feel that again. So they get back up, they do a little wobble again, and they take that step. Yes, they do. So take small, but consistent. See, this is what I see a lot of people when I'm coaching and helping people. They start something, then they stop. They start something, they stop because they see that maybe 2 or 3 days or weeks, it seems like it's not like the outcome again, looking for that certain outcome they're looking for. And then they stop. Then they create something else. Then they go for a few weeks or a few months. Then they stop. I had a client already just last week. I didn't even want to say nothing. I just let them do it. Because sometimes you got to understand what battles to fight and what battles not to fight. And that was a battle I'm not fighting anymore. I told them many times, you keep starting and stopping because you don't see the outcome. You don't even know what's going on. You don't even know how it's going. If you're going to start something, you have to give it time to evolve. Now, if it's just totally like out of what you're trying to do with your business, or if it's, a passion project you're working on and it's just not the right fit for it, then yeah, you need to just think about it and be strategic and say to yourself, okay, this is not something that is really, it was just one of those thought processes. And that's okay, because you did step out. You still went from fear to forward. So I'll give you that credit. So you learned that, hey, this is not it. Now I get that sometimes, because that's sometimes what it is. But when you have something and it's probably the right thing to do, but it's going to take its time to get to that next level that it's supposed to go to, and then you stop it suddenly and you be like, crap, it ain't gonna work. See, that's going back into the fear part. That's going back into thinking about the failure of it. That's going back into maybe some judgments going on. So remember, calling out the fear, and then we're going to fight the fear. by moving forward. So forward doesn't mean big leaps. It means movement, your movement. One video, one post, one conversation at a time builds moment. It builds the momentum, not just for you, but for us. See what's going on when people see you've been for 2 or 3 days, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you've been on this particular thing. Maybe you're doing some kind of challenge, or you're doing a little 30-minute coaching or whatever like that, and you do it consistently. But as soon as you stop, people are like, okay, well, they stopped. Okay. And then you start something else. And then you stop that. And then you start something else. You have to be consistent in what you're doing. Taking those small steps and consistent actions. So forward doesn't mean big leaps. Again, it means movement. Do that one video every week. Maybe do that one post every other day. But you have to be consistent and build the momentum. So that's number 3. 4th tip, and these are action items. Remember, I said I like the action. Anchor in your purpose. Say it again, and I'm going to say it slow. Anchor in your purpose. Okay? Your why must be stronger than your fear. Okay, I'm going to say it a little louder. I know my whole household can hear me. Your why must be stronger than your fear. When you are clear on who you are, called to serve, fear becomes secondary, sometimes 3rd or 4th, but we'll just keep it as secondary for right now. Remember I said earlier about you need to learn how to control fear. Fear should control you. Same as here. When you're anchored in your purpose, when you're passionate about something, when you believe in something that you're supposed to be doing, when you're a messenger and in that whatever you're trying to do in life, it overrides fear. It really overrides the fear, because you start to say things like, no matter what, I'm still going to push forward. I don't care what the situation looks like. I'm still going to move forward. I don't care what they say about certain things. I'm still pushing towards that mark, because that is my purpose. That's my anchor and my purpose. And it has to push forward no matter what. That's when you start doing those type of talks. That's when they're coming out your mouth. Instead of saying, well, if it doesn't work, then maybe I shouldn't do it. Okay, then you know what? I would ask people, I say, you know what? Then what's your purpose? Where's your passion? See, I was called the PPD. That's my foundation. Purpose, passion, and drive. I said, if you don't have that in lockdown, if you don't have, oh Lord, if you don't have that locked down, if you don't have that locked into yourself, then I don't care what comes around, what earthquakes and floods, is not going to move you, because you have it locked in. But if you don't know, or you're kind of like, I don't know, I think so, I think I'm doing this, I think I'm supposed to be doing that, then boom, certain something happens. Boom, certain the failure part kicks in your head. Boom, the visibility, you don't want to be looked at or whatever. All that, I'm calling out stuff of fear. All that's going to take you down. It will immediately take you down, because now you're letting fear be stronger than your purpose. Okay? So we want to make sure it's the opposite. So anytime you hear yourself saying, I don't think so, turn it. Go back to what I talked about, reframing. Remember I said about shift your perspective? Instead of what if this goes wrong, you want to ask yourself, what if this changes my life? What if this changes the pace and the course of this project? What if this changes somebody else's life if I move forward? That's the kind of thinking perspective you need to be thinking about. Okay? So you want to anchor your purpose. I always tell people, if the fear and everything else, and we called it out at the beginning, number 1, I said, call it out, the fear. If all that's taking over what you're trying to do, then your purpose is weak. Maybe that's not your purpose. Have you ever thought about that? I had to think about that. I had to say, okay, why is it every time I'm trying to do something like, either I feel lazy about it, or I'm like, it ain't gonna work, or I try it or whatever. Because somewhere down the line, my main purpose that I told myself I had, my PPD as I call it, purpose, passion, and drive, is not locked in. Something's wrong. Because why I'm letting every little storm in my life not get me to what I need to get, not me working towards what I need to be doing in my purpose. Anything can fall. Anything can hit. And I'm like, okay, there's no excuse why not do it. I mean, in my mind, I'm saying that. So then I had to ask myself, I said, okay, Barbara, is it the storms and everything going on that's causing the problem? Or is it me not locked into what my purpose is? And it's not strong enough. And if that's the case, then you need to analyze yourself. You need to analyze what you're doing. You need to make some tweaks here and there. And guess what? Guess what? That's okay. I'd rather for you to sit there and make tweaks and take a step and look at the perspective of it than to keep going into that cycle of, okay, nothing's working and blah, 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 and whatever. And you're not understanding that you got to get to the root of it. And the root of it is probably, okay, is my purpose strong to overcome fear? Because if it's not, you got a problem. So your why must be stronger than your fear. When you are clear on who you are called to serve, fear becomes secondary. It's like a normal thing. I know the fear going to come, but guess what? I'm going to be beyond that. I'm not going to let that stop me. Okay. So hopefully this is coming together for some people. Like I said, I wanted to set the foundation of fear forward, which I did earlier. And I wanted to give you something to think about, something to chew on, as I always say, and then make sure you put some action to it. It's practice. You need to practice this. This is not something that you get to a certain level and then you're good. This is something that you have to go through life every day, making sure you reframe things, making sure the words that come out of your mouth is not something that's going to come back and be in a negative tone. Because words, like I always tell people, words are very powerful. So when you put those words out, it's going to come back. And if you put some negative thoughts out there, it's going to come back. And it comes back hard a lot of times. So instead of us always having to dig ourselves out of words that we put out there that brought us back to this, why don't we put some other words out there that's going to come back and let us flourish and let us grow and let us, get to that next level. So that's what we want to do. Okay. So with that, I think I have another video. And it's called, now that we're talking, because I'm really headstrong when it comes to understanding your purpose to override everything else. Because if it's, like I said, if it's weak, things are gonna hit you so hard, and then you're gonna want to give up. Then you go to the other thing. Well, maybe I'm not worthy. Oh, maybe I should, see all those thoughts come in. And it's going to be so easy people to say stuff to you, and you're just going to grab a hold of it. And it's going to make it worse. So I'm going to play another video that's really important because it talks about fueling your purpose. So I'll be right back.
Choose to spark it, call it by name.
And we are back. Fuel the passion. I like that. Yes, 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 yes. So fuel your passion, fuel your purpose. Make sure it's on sync. So when people start to say things, or even in your own head, when you start saying things that are not lining up with what you're trying to do and thinking negative, that purpose, the passion, everything's going to kick on in and it's going to override that. Then you start controlling it, not it controlling you. So I do have time. Looks like I have some time. That's good because I want to get through all 7 tips. So let's go through. I left off with anchor in your purpose. 5th, number 5, real quickly here. Build confidence through repetition. And this kind of goes with what I just said, so I don't have to have too much time on this. It's kind of just a reminder again that you want to make sure confidence doesn't come first, action does. Okay, so you need to build it up. Remember I said you got to do something. The more you show up, the more natural it becomes. So the more you keep remember I talked about repetition and being consistent and all that. The more you show up, you build up that fear, everything that comes. I'm telling you, kick it down even to another level, down to another level, not up, down. So you got to build your confidence. So as you can see, there's a theme here in a sense that I'm talking about taking the steps, being consistent, knowing that, you're forever learning. It's a process. It's a process. It's going to be a process until you gain your wings. I always tell people that. It's going to be a process. So that it's a process, now let's just do the action, do the work, right? Number 6. Make sure, well, first of all, I got to remind everybody, comments, put your successes. I see a few, but not many. Just a reminder. And you know what? Even if you don't put your success here as we're going through Success Saturday Hour, just make sure somewhere you are remembering and giving yourself some love on that, so you can say that, there's a win in your life. Okay. You want to celebrate. If you don't celebrate with us, please, somewhere down the line, celebrate it, because it's very important to remind you of you took fear to forward and see what happened, see what kind of success happened from that. So remind you of what you did. And that's good. You're being consistent. You're moving forward. So number 6, surround yourself with support. Don't be on your own island. Do not be on your own. You don't need to be on your own island. Surround yourself with support. And I put a disclaimer here. You got to feel the support that you want to feel. Okay. You don't want to push yourself into something that you're like, okay, now this is not helping. This is making it worse. When I say that, you want to get in a room or get in a community or a mentorship, where growth is normal. You know what? You got to make sure in the right people too, right? You move faster when you're not doing it alone. You really do. Okay, let's go back to, I said, surround yourself with support. Let's go back to that phone call I had last night with the wonderful queen, wonderful young lady that I had a phone call with. That was surrounding myself with support. She supported me. She told me how much I support her, which I still will keep doing that. And then she showed me something she was supporting me with that I didn't even, I was grasping. I was like, oh my God. Every time she was saying something, like, oh, wait a minute. I had my pen. I had my paper that last night. But it was supporting me to say, I can't keep moving here. I don't want to stay in this spot right now. My purpose is more important than the fear. Aha. See, that's the kind of, you got to respond and practice responding in those ways. And it becomes a little bit easier every time. I heard where they said that most people, what they do when they said there's like, I forgot, so many thoughts in your mind. They said like maybe 10 million, somebody said thoughts in your mind daily. It's always negative thoughts. So I'm like, oh my God, that's kind of crazy that every thought comes in your mind. The first thought that comes in there is, well, maybe you can't do that. And then you got to override it with something. Well, no, you can't do this one over here. Then you got to override that. See, that's why you see how much practice you need, because if all those thoughts are coming in every day, all day, and it's mostly negative stuff or things that they're saying to yourself you cannot do, you have to practice this. This is something that's going to be an everyday thing. And surrounding yourself with support, with the right support, with the positive individuals, with the light-minded, light heart, mindset, whatever you want to put it, is in your same wheelhouse or even higher than what you're thinking. You need to be around those individuals. You need to be in those rooms. You need to be in those communities. You need to be those one-on-ones with people to make sure that, you know, when you start leaning to another side and saying, well, I don't know if I could. No, you can. Somebody can go shout out, no, Barbara, you can. Stop it. So those are reminders. So last one, I got one more. Celebrate. Does this sound familiar? This is something that we're doing right now. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Somebody just reminded that just the other day I was in a training and they said, nobody's going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. But you can just start the process and see where it goes. So every step forward matters. It does. It really does. Going back to the little baby analogy, every forward step matters. Don't wait until it's perfect, because it's not going to be. It's not, even when you think it's perfect, it's not going to be perfect, because there's always something you can do different. Honor the courage it took to start. That's what you want to do. So this is, again, not looking at, okay, what's the outcome of it, but just acknowledge that you started somewhere. Just acknowledge that. So celebrate the progress and not being so perfect, or what's the outcome going to be? Well, I want to be at this outcome. So now you're studying, you put all your energy on that, but you're not enjoying the steps to get to where you need to go. So you want to celebrate those small steps, because it probably took a lot for you to get to that. And you want to celebrate. That's why I always talk about Success Saturdays. See how it loops into that? So confidence doesn't come first. Action does. The more you show up, the more natural it becomes. Okay. So with that, I really appreciate everybody coming on today. I know it's Saturday. You know, you got a lot of things going on. That's the nice thing about this. You can always look at the replay. You can always look at the replay. So I'm going to close out with this. Fear will always try to have a voice. Okay. So we just put that out there. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to real with you. Okay. But it doesn't have to have the final say. It might have a voice, but it doesn't have to have the final say. When you choose forward, you choose expansion, you choose impact, and the life you were meant to live. So let that stick in there, not just in your head, but the mind, heart on that. Always remember, you can always have the final say in whatever you do in your life, but you have to choose. Yes, you have to choose to do that. And with that said, what can I pick so we can celebrate your success today? I want to just thank everybody. I want to thank Tamara L. Hunter for always letting me be a part of her platform. You know, collaboration is the key. I always tell people, remember I was just saying earlier about, you know, you can't do it alone. There's others around that's like-minded like you, and that you can lift each other up in what you're doing. And I just want to take a thank you to her. I also want to thank each and every person that's a part of the Chemo Buddy community. I know we have a private group that we do Friday night chats. So you can, if you're in the private group or want to become in the private group, you can always ask to do that. And the wonderful Caroline Brown is ahead of that. And because we're always checking on our Chemo Buddies. We always want to check. And then another show that comes on every Sunday under the Tamara L. Hunter production, I say, is Let's Talk Fab, where it's every Sunday she has a weekly panel and other co-hosts host the show on a regular basis. Guess what? I'm one of them, but I'm not doing it tomorrow. Mine is coming up in a few more weeks. But just to let you know that there's a community within these shows, within this platform, that you can always reach out to and understand that no matter what that we talk about, it's always going to be positive. It's always going to be something to move you forward. And it's always talking about LOVE is what I love a lot, and that's loving on you. So with that, I will see you. Oh, yeah, I will see you in 2 more weeks for Success Saturday, 4th Saturday. And just remember, celebrate you, celebrate your wins, celebrate others, because again, we are all in this together.
From Grandma's smile to Grandpa's song, stories we've carried all along.
Every laugh, every tear, a treasure we keep, a lifetime of memories rooted deep.
We lift our hearts, we dance, we sing. Through every trial, joy takes wing. From grandparents' love to dreams brand new, the art of celebration shines in you. The road's been rough, the night was long, but we found our strength, we still belong.
Even broken roads can lead us home. Together we rise, never alone.
We lift our hearts, we dance, we sing. Through every trial, joy takes wing. From grandparents' love to dreams brand new, the art of celebration shines in you. Pictures may fade, but the love remains. Every challenge paints brighter days. Hand in hand, we'll make it through. Every moment's a gift made for me and you. We lift our hearts, we dance, we sing. Through every trial, joy takes wing. From stories past to future,